Tonight, we had the New York Knicks face the Golden State Warriors. Guys, you know what? It's Summer League, but you know what the rule of Summer League? First rule of Summer League, it's only Summer League. Second rule of Summer League, we overreact like a family. All right, and tonight, like I said, we had the New York Knicks face the Golden State Warriors. The New York Knicks would end up winning 101-88. And from the get-go, we saw two veteran-savvy teams go at it. We saw on offense teams that were ready to set hard screens, cut to the basket, and find the open man by making that extra pass. And on defense, we saw teams playing on a string. But we would get the New York Knicks playing hard-nosed defense all the way through, which was the main reason for the victory. We had Quentin Grimes, who started off slow but would come up big in the third quarter to give us 24 points to end the game. We had Deuce McBride showing his point guard abilities by finding the open man and knocking down critical shots. We had the Wall of Jericho. The Wall of Jericho, I said it. This man was protecting the rim, hanging out in the dunker spot, getting the alley-oop. And then we had Ferron Hunt. 7 steals. Man was the king of transition. And we saw a little bit of Jean Montero and Trevor Keels out there doing some action as well. Guys, like I said, the New York Knicks would win this game 101-88. I'm your host tonight, Alex Chateris, a.k.a. the Tradacast, and with me is my boy, my co-host, KnicksFanTV.com writer, Chip Murphy. Chip, what's going on, man? How you feeling today?
Alex, man, thank you for the intro. I'm pumped after that Knicks win, man.
Man, I'm happy that the Knicks got that victory. It was it's a nice way to start Summer League, man. You know, we get to overreact. We get to see Ferron Hunt. He was just out there, like I said, transition god tonight. 7 steals. Did anyone see this coming? Did anyone see this coming? Did you see this coming, Chip?
I barely knew who he was before this game, so I definitely didn't know. I definitely didn't see this coming. Yeah. Other than the fact that he was on the team last year, I didn't know too much about him. You know what I mean? Like, I think every single basket was a dunk. So it was incredible to watch. Obviously, happy for the guy. And then to watch, like, Quickly and Obi jump up out of their seats and get happy for him, too. It was just fun to watch those guys get all excited for him because obviously they were really happy for him. And I don't know, it was a cool game just to see, obviously, Hunt and Grimes bouncing back. Yeah, after the struggling pretty badly in the first half and shooting about as bad as we've seen him shoot, and then still just have a great game. I mean, Hunt was the highlight, but I just enjoyed watching all those guys. McBride, too. McBride played like we've never seen him play, man. Yeah, have we seen McBride really, like, take step-back threes like that so confidently? Not that he's ever really had the opportunity to be on the ball that much and do that, but man, it was just fun to watch those guys do what they wanted to do. And then Sims, too. Oh, my God. You said Sims. When they finally took advantage and were like, I think, what was the tallest player on the Warriors? 6'10", maybe? And it's like, yeah, just feed the big guy. Yeah, there's no one on the court that can stop him. Just throw it up to him. And then it's like, yeah, he's literally unstoppable out there when there's no one tall enough to stop him. And that's what he did. He just dominated, particularly in the second half, just dominated.
Yeah, and I really like the way the Knicks came out as as a unit and team. You saw that from the get-go. It was all about team defense first, trying to look for the open guys tonight. I think the one thing I do like, especially out of Grimes, and you point out that even though he was able to find his shot, is that he continued to work through it, and he didn't let his struggles get to him, right? Because we saw on the other side, Jonathan Kuminga, you saw that it was getting to him the entire night. Kuminga couldn't get anything going. And if you're looking at the timeline tonight on Twitter, you saw people were like, oh, out on Quentin Grimes. But if you're going to be out on Quentin Grimes, are you guys out on Jonathan Kuminga too? Top pick in last year's draft? I wouldn't be out on Grimes right now. The dude who just came back from a knee injury. He was struggling, hasn't played basketball since what, March, April, somewhere around there. So it takes some time to find his shot to get into his groove, and he did just that. But, dude, once again, this team was just – I'm wondering about Ferron Hunt, man. Is this what we're leaving the open spot for? Is this just me overreacting? Because tonight, seriously, 7 steals, just out there, legitimately just doing everything, all the small things, man. He just knew how to jump the passing lane. He was just reading everyone easily. I don't know if that's just because of talent of like in the summer league, or if I should just be like and pulling back my emotions for what I saw. But come on, man, like we're seeing what was he at? He had 19 points tonight?
Damn.
17
A
points.
nine.
17 points tonight. 17 points tonight. Went 8 for 12 from the field, 7 steals, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Dude was hooping tonight. Dude was absolutely hooping tonight.
It was more than just dunks, for sure. You have to give him that because he was really active on defense and he was getting right up in guys' mugs like the whole game. And he was trying to do because I mean he knows who the head coach of the Knicks is. He knows how to impress him. Everybody on that court was trying 110% on defense the whole game. Yeah, because they know Tibbs was there. He was watching the game. Like they know what they have to do to impress the guy. You saw on like the first or second defensive possession for the Knicks, Trevor Keels diving into the crowd to grab a loose ball. These guys were the Knicks wanted that one more than the Warriors. Like Burke and Mark Jones were saying like, "Oh, this is an intense game." Oh, for the Knicks, it kind of was. Like they were working their asses off on defense big time, and in the second half, like the Warriors kind of folded a little bit on defense. The Knicks definitely had more talent on the court for sure than the Warriors did, but at the same time, the Knicks' defensive intensity for a summer league game was just really impressive. And Hunt, I mean, led the charge on that. Like he just was, like I said, like super active, and his dunks just fired everybody up, man. Like right from the start, right when he got out there, everybody was pumped to have him out there. And man, those fast break dunks, like, and Doris Burke said he's leaking out to grab dunks, and he was like, it was like a CYO game. Like he was just hanging out there to
really
go grab
was.
a dunk. Yeah, and it's like, oh, if you want to stop him, like foul him hard or something, prevent him from getting the dunk. Like they didn't do that. They were just letting him get the dunks. So he's gonna go get him.
And the thing too is that it wasn't just like you said, it wasn't just dunks. Like I remember the give and go that he had. I forget if it was with Sims or with Keels. I forget who it was, but he got the steal out in transition, did a quick give and go to get the easy layup. And it's just simple basketball plays like that. Just that's high IQ playing, right? He's not doing anything like too complex to figure out how to make the defense bend or taking advantage of 2-on-1s or just the mismatches that you see in the open court. So stuff like that, when you play at that type of level and just have that type of IQ for a Tom Thibodeau-led team, and once again, like we saw, it's two teams that are just, known for doing that. The Warriors are going to be an overprepared team, sharing the rock, playing defense on the string. And the Knicks, it comes down to you having a coach that's overprepared, and you see that being translated down to this team right here for Summer League. But I want to talk about this. I want to switch it up a little bit before I keep going on and on about the guys who have been playing well. Your guy, Trevor Keels, man, coming from Duke. You're a big Duke guy. How'd you feel about Keels? Tonight he had like a decent floor game, right? He had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals. He was active on that side, struggled to shoot a little bit, but this is not a surprise because that was kind of the scouting report. His shot selection has been, it's on and it's off. Some nights he could be hot, but for the most part, he's just more of like a glue floor guy. And from tonight, is there any takeaway that you saw from Keels moving forward? Like, is this the reason why he's going to be on a 2-way contract, getting probably most of his time in the G League, or do you see like anything coming more from him as the season goes on?
He started off like really aggressive, and I liked what I saw, and then he got like borderline reckless. Yeah, and it's summer league, so he got a little 3 happy. And I thought at the beginning of the game they were trying to feed him the ball because they were like trying to see what he could do. Like Grimes was really looking for him, and then he started missing some shots, and he struggled. He made that one corner 3 at the beginning of the game, which got his confidence up, and that's when he started really getting aggressive. But like you said, he couldn't make shots. What I was maybe most impressed by with him was his drive, his playmaking, his passing was really good in this game. He had a couple passes. One was to Sims for an assist, and another one, a wide open 3. I think Grimes missed it, but still, it was a great pass to him. I think he's capable of doing a lot more than, obviously, his defense is something that you hope really develops because he's such a strong guy and he's got the body of a great defender. But I think he's capable of doing much more than that. And like you said, he's a streaky shooter right now, but he has the ability to do that. I think he's going to be spending most of his time in the G League this year for many of the reasons you saw tonight. But I liked what I saw from him, that he struggled with his shot and he still worked hard. And yeah, you didn't see a lazy player in this game, and I don't think you're ever going to see that with him. He works his butt off, and I that's part of the reason I was glad they took him.
Yeah, for sure. You see that he's a hard worker. By the way, he was just like I think that's the theme with this core as of right now. When you watch them, it if their shots are not dropping, they're still going to work and play the rest of the game and do other things. You know, that's what we talk about when we like about RJ. When you see Obi out there and he's struggling, that's the things that we talk about Emmanuel quickly. You know, even if their shots are not falling, these guys are going to continue to work and play team basketball to make sure that they're contributing in a winning way, right? And that's the one thing you can say for McKeel's for tonight, because I'll say this: Deuce McBride found him in the left corner wing, or left corner, and then he just knocked it down, right? He knocked down that one shot and then didn't hit another shot for the rest of the game. And the one thing I will say, like, I'll add on his playmaking, is that I do like how he keeps his head up, right? Because he had that outlook pass. I think that was to Sims, not Jericho Sims, the other Sims that we got on our team. There's too many Sims on this team. Yeah. Who would have thought? But he found Sims open for a nice, easy dunk in transition. I like that aspect about him, because I feel like when you watch the Knicks, especially the last couple of seasons, we haven't had guys that are looking to get a lot of outlook passes. Sure, Quickly has done it from time to time, but no one's really looking to push the ball down court. And that's why I tweeted that, you know, this is the most transition basketball I've seen from the Knicks in the past couple of years, because, you know, we've seen that half-court offense, and the fact that we have a player that's looking to get the ball out quickly just to get the easy buckets to make it easier on the team. That's a wonderful thing to see, and it just makes simple basketball, right? That's the whole thing. Making it simple, not making it overly complex. And we saw guys do it tonight. I mean, we even had Deuce McBride go out there, try to go ISO one-on-one in third quarter. It's like, come on, dude. What are we like? I get you're feeling yourself a little too much tonight. I get you hit some shots today, but you didn't really need to go ISO right now. And
you saw that with Grimes a lot.
Yeah, I know Grimes. Yeah, absolutely with Grimes too, and that's why he was struggling, right? Because you can't force the issue. You gotta let the game come to you, and that's, if we go back to the other side, that's why Kuminga struggled. But then we have Moses Moody going out for 34 points and looking like Steph Curry tonight. And you know, I keep moving this thing along. We got Jericho Sims. You know, went 7 for 8 tonight, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. Man, really altered shots in the paint tonight. I like what I saw from Jericho. This is, you know, we saw the news today how Taj Gibson was released today. He's going to sign with the Washington Wizards, or it's expected he'll sign with the Washington Wizards. And this, to me, kind of it fits what Leon Rose has been preaching about, moving with the youth. And it's good because we saw Tibbs when it wasn't Mitch and Noel was hurt. He went over Sims. Granted, Sims was on a 2-way contract and he can only play 50 games. But you saw how he went straight to Taj. I think there's a little bit more trust now to wait, and especially after tonight, you know, because we even saw we saw it during last season, so it's not even really overreacting for Jericho Sims right now. We saw from the end of last season, the 41 games that he played, especially towards overall, he played 41 games, but towards the end of last season, we saw him how he's able to switch on the perimeter, right? He's able to go back. How his recovery rate is very good, strong rebounder. He went toe-to-toe with Joel Embiid when it came to like boxing out and protecting the paint. We see him go toe-to-toe with Andre Drummond, who's a bigger body, who gives Mitchell Robinson some problems. And we know he can set the screen. He's active, and we saw that tonight. I'm happy that he will have the opportunity to get some minutes, because we know Mitchell Robinson, there's a high likelihood Mitch is going to miss some time. So if we got Isaiah Hartenstein, who's slotted to be the second string, or second center off the bench. Sims right now is going to be the third guy. When Mitch needs that rest or will miss time, you can be confident with what we have in Sims, and not just from tonight, but what we saw from last season too. Tonight just kind of shows that he's still growing as a player, and with the 58th pick of last year's draft, this kid's looking good.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you could say about the Knicks. We're going to have one of the deepest center rotations in the NBA. I don't think a lot of teams put as much emphasis on the center rotation as the Knicks have this year. I mean, we have 3 good centers, 3 rotation centers. Not a lot of teams do that. And I know it's not a position of emphasis in the NBA anymore. Like, you know, the center's not a position that teams spend a lot of money on, but when you have a guy like Jericho Sims, who's would be a backup center on a lot of teams, probably as your third string center, your emergency center, I guess. Like, look at what I know this is summer league, that's the excuse or whatever, but he showed, like you said, he showed last year, this is the kind of thing he's capable of doing, coming off the bench in a pinch and just, like blocking shots and altering shots and running to the rim. And like you said, when Mitch inevitably gets hurt, unfortunately, that's the case when he is on your team as the starting center, you're going to need him to do things like he did tonight. And he makes the incredibly acrobatic plays that Mitch does too. He's not necessarily as great as Mitch, but he makes a lot of the similar plays, and he sets a lot of the screens that Mitch doesn't necessarily set all the time. And he's not as great as Mitch, but he does a lot of similar things. And if you need him, you love the 3-year deal that he signed, the very team friendly deal, and it's a great deal for us. And he's like, as a fan, you just love having guys like that you took with the 58th pick on your team for the next 3 years. It's a great to have him there.
Yeah, for sure. And we have another guy who's going to the second year of this 3-year deal, which is Deuce McBride. Right, he finished the game with 14 points, 7 assists, 2 rebounds, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, went 3 for 8 from 3-point land. From the field, 3 for 10, not great. You want to see him have a better shot selection. Like I said, when you're starting to do some ISO shots and force the issue, you're not helping your team. But tonight, he did help his team with the 7 assists. I felt like McBride had a good control over the offense tonight. He really had a good control of the pace, knowing when to push, knowing when to slow it up, set guys, like I said, in the right position to succeed. I like that from McBride tonight. But, Chip, do you see, from what you saw tonight, do you see this is another step in Deuce's development? Do you see him getting, how are you gauging McBride right now? Because when you look at this team, we have Jalen Brunson, we have Emmanuel Quickley, and still Derrick Rose on this team too. So McBride's the 4th point guard on the depth chart, right? He's not. It's going to be very difficult for him to get minutes in this type of rotation.
Yeah, that's
from what you saw tonight. Yeah. Even Doris Burke and everybody was talking about that he has to earn trust from Tom Thibodeau, especially when it comes to commanding the offense. Did you see anything tonight? Because we also saw him go off last year in summer league. Granted it was Quickly though playing point guard, not McBride for the most part. Anything from tonight that you're saying, all right, I'm intrigued and I could see how he can work himself into potential rotation minutes or earn the trust of Tibbs? Do you see anything of that nature tonight?
I would say he's lower on the totem pole than Sims and Grimes for sure to me. I think, and look, obviously Brunson and Quickly are higher up than him on the depth chart, and any team that Tom Thibodeau coaches that has Derrick Rose, he is going to be a priority over a young player like Deuce McBride, and he may even be a priority over Emmanuel Quickley for all we know. Who knows? We hope not, but I doubt it. But I think Quickley proved himself. But yeah, I think you're right. I think he's the 4th point guard, and I really like McBride, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, where do the minutes come from? He's the 4th point guard on the team. Yeah, I think he's a really good defender. I loved him. All the West Virginia guards. Doris Burke mentioned Bob Huggins, and he just coaches the hell out of that West Virginia defense. It's basically, if you've ever watched West Virginia, all they do, Bob Huggins defense, they just foul you on every single play. And the ref is just like, they can't call a foul on every single play, so they just foul you. And he just became an aggressive defender, obviously playing for Bob Huggins. And he's a really good defender. But you know what? Emmanuel Quickley's a really good defender too. And Jalen Brunson's a good defender too. And they're both better than him, unfortunately for him, for Deuce McBride. And I think it's kind of just an unfortunate situation for him of, I'm not really sure where the minutes are going to come from. I don't know. Do you feel differently about it?
I mean, I think it all depends on what happens to Derrick Rose, right? If Taj Gibson,
right.
We just saw Taj Gibson on the move, so that clears up the way for Jericho Sims, right? If Derrick Rose is here, I see it as a massive uphill battle for McBride to get some minutes because, like we just said, we got Brunson, quickly Rose. Those three guys are slated in front of him, and this is the second year. McBride will be going into the second year of his deal, and like even after tonight, like I said with CP earlier this week on Knicks Weekly, that these minutes are important for him because he has to prove that he can earn Tibbs' trust and just be ready for when that opportunity comes, because that's what Tibbs preaches, right? It's what you got to wait for your opportunity. You're just waiting for your opportunity. You got to take advantage of when you get it. And we saw that when he played against Toronto last year, Tibbs was like, "I don't have your trust," pulled you, and then we never saw that man again until the end of the season. Situational. Yeah, had the Frank Ntilikina situational label on him for towards the end of the season. I know it's rough.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So unfortunately, that's what it was. But now after seeing this, and yeah, it's only summer league, but I did like the way he commanded the offense. I thought it was pretty good. We got another point guard though, in Jean Montero. I liked the little bit of action that I got to see from him tonight. He only had 9 minutes, went 2 for 3 from the field, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. Didn't get assists, but yet when you watched him play, you see that he was finding the passing lanes really well. I do like when he working out of the pick and roll, how he's able to drop some nice dime bounce passes, just finding the pocket. Need more time to see what he can offer. I know it's very tough right now because once again, this is really for Deuce to be getting the minutes, and Deuce got 31 minutes compared to Montero's 9 minutes. I thought maybe there would be a little bit more of an overlap, like we saw in the fourth quarter, but they did give Montero an Exhibit 10 contract, so you know that he's got to work to get his minutes in Summer League. And the Knicks, because they gave him an Exhibit 10, they can waive him at the end and then have his rights to put him on the Westchester Knicks, which I think that's their intention, right? And we even saw a Bleacher Report article saying that he is the number 1 undrafted prospect going into Summer League that we should have our eyes on. 9 minutes isn't a lot to really judge what he can do, but in the small spurts that we saw, it's kind of like Rokas last season. I liked the little bit that I saw from him. What do you think about Jean Montero?
Yeah, I did like what I saw from him. It just wasn't a lot. I don't know how much to take from 9 minutes in a Summer League game from a guy that I'd never seen before. I like that he defended, but like he just did what everybody else was defending, and he just got right into it. Yeah, like bought into the system right away. Like even as a rookie guy, just jumped right in there and defended. So like you said, I hope we see more of him. I think there'll probably be a game where Deuce just doesn't play as much and he grabs like 25, maybe 30 minutes, and we'll see more of him because Tibbs will want to see more of him. But yeah, I think it'd be nice to have him in Westchester. Because I know the Bleacher Report article you're talking about, and they ranked him high, and I know people are high on him, so I hope we see more of him, but I'm not sure how much you can take from 9 minutes in a Summer League game.
Well, he was, a fringe first-round pick, and because he got injured during the combine out in Chicago, he wasn't able to participate in the scrimmages, so fell off. Another reason, if you check out the article I wrote today, another reason is that he went to Overtime Elite, right? He played in Overtime Elite, which is new. It's a new program. It's not like the G League. It's not playing internationally. It's unknown, so you don't really have a good gauge for what the competition is there. So I can understand that if you don't get to see him in scrimmages, he played at Overtime Elite, it's very hard to draft him. So he's just an intriguing prospect. I mean, we can keep going down the line like Potter and so forth, but these guys, I think most of these guys are G League guys, and really the Summer League is just focusing on Grimes, Sims, McBride, Hunt, Keels. Did you want to go more into Grimes? I feel like we talked about Grimes. I feel like I said, his ability just to continue to fight. We need to see more from him, more from Grimes, because this will be a key year for Grimes to see if he gets into the starting rotation. It's funny, Stevie and I were talking about it. We've talked about it previously on other shows where Grimes needs to be in the starting rotation because you can't have Fournier. Brunson and Fournier is just a poor defensive. We just don't need it. So even Doris Burke, once again, mentioned, you would think that Grimes, because of his size, strength, still he's a good shooter, even though he struggled tonight, that you'd want him in the starting rotation.
His passing tonight, too. His
And his
passing
passing
tonight.
tonight too. Yeah, absolutely. So that's another dimension that he can offer in the starting rotation. So I think this is important for him because coming off an injury, needs to get ready for the upcoming season. So hopefully Grimes is ready, man. I like that he was able to turn it around.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in the starting rotation. I think Fournier's. I mean, me and you have talked about this before. I think Fournier'd be great off the bench. I hope they move Grimes in the starting rotation. And I was really impressed by his passing in the second half, particularly to Sims. I thought he was great. Yeah, I just for like one of his worst shooting games that we've seen from him, for him to come back and play that well in the second half and just step up. I was really impressed by Grimes, despite the shooting numbers. I thought he had a really good game.
For sure. Well, that covers for the for the first half of the game tonight. Time to reset. Welcome to KnicksFanTV post game. Once again, this is Alex Harris, aka the Stratocaster. With me tonight is my boy Chip Murphy, KnicksFanTV.com writer. We're going over the Knicks, how the Knicks defeated the Golden State Warriors 101-88. Tonight, if you want to call in and give off your takes, give off your thoughts and opinions, you got to come through the Discord or throw some questions in the chat. We'll make sure to catch some of them and read them. So we're gonna tune our caller right here on the Discord with us. I think this is Nate from Rochester. So Nate, gonna pull you in right now, get you on the line. Nate, if you can hear us, unmute your mic. Let's hear what you got to say, man. What's going on?
You got me.
Yep. What's going on, Nate? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling all right, man. Hit the thumbs up, man. We got 1,500 people, only 300 likes. Let's get it up. Real quick. I like what I saw from Grimes and Sims, and like those are the main guys I'm paying attention to, just because I think they're gonna actually play the season. And with McBride, it's tough because I like the floor game that he played, but the thing with him is like he just doesn't get to the rim at a high enough level. And especially like if you're not doing it in a summer league game, like being a short guard in the NBA and not being able to get to the rim, like that's kind of a death sentence for you. So like, I just don't see him really cracking the rotation. But like he has the IQ, I think, and like the shooting ability, I think, is there. But if you can't get to the rim, there's really nothing you can do about that. So like, I'm still not super high on McBride, but
Especially on a Tibbs team.
What do
That's
you think?
important. Getting to the rim as a guard. It is, yeah.
And
No, for sure it is. So Nate, what do you think? What do you think McBride? Do you think McBride has a future here on this team then, or what do you expect from McBride moving forward with the Knicks?
I mean, like he's a second round pick. Is like most of the time these guys aren't really gonna be much. It's like that's like found money. Like you shouldn't be upset that McBride is like potentially might not be a long term fit on this team. It's like we have Jalen Brunson, we have Quickly. Those guys are I would assume are gonna be on the team for like the foreseeable future. But like, other than that, it's like it's like what are we gonna do with McBride? Like, we're not gonna extend him or anything like that. I would think, unless he does something like super out of the ordinary. But I don't want to be too negative because I think we saw good things today. I don't want to harp on McBride. I like what I saw from Ferron Hunt. That I was kind of confused about. Why isn't Cam Reddish playing? I feel like Cam Reddish doesn't really get like a lot of time in the NBA. Like he hasn't played a lot with the Hawks. He didn't play much with us, It's like, why is he with the Summer League guys,
He was out there chilling on the sideline today,
Yeah.
hanging out with the crew, with Julius and everybody else. I think was it the reports are maybe he's still recovering from his shoulder injury. I know he was back in the gym working out. Maybe I think that's one reason. I also think that he's going into his fourth year of his contract.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not
too
sure
many
if you're
fourth
allowed.
year.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure of how many fourth year players are allowed to participate in summer league. I don't know how common that is.
Yeah, I just had the thought in my head because I saw the segment from Richard Jefferson, and it was like, like the young guy should be playing, and it's like, I just wanted to see Cam Reddish more because I'm not sure if like I think he could start for this team potentially, but I can also see him like just not ever playing at all. It can go either way. It's just I haven't seen enough of him. It's like we just I want to see him more, and it's like I don't think it would hurt him really because he would be clearly better than most of the players that are in the summer league. So I just want to see him play. That's really all it is. But yeah, that's all I really got. I'll let somebody else.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, Nate. Appreciate Nate from Rochester calling in. Yeah, I mean, I want to see Cam Reddish play too. I mean, this is a big Big year for Cam Reddish for the Knicks. I mean, sheesh. We traded a first round top 18 protected pick. We didn't get to see much of him last season. We know Tibbs didn't want to play him last season. We know Tibbs wasn't too thrilled when he came to the team. I'm thinking that Tibbs, because he had a stacked roster as it was, not necessarily it was like the greatest or the most talent. It was just stacked enough where it was like too many. There wasn't enough minutes for everyone to go around. So this is a very big year for Cam.
Tibbs thought it was a stacked roster. He thought he had a stacked roster.
He definitely did, man.
Yeah.
Definitely did. But I would like to see Cam Reddish. Had this conversation earlier this week. I want to see Cam Reddish in this rotation. It's interesting because that second unit, it's just muddy. It is so muddy because with Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, I'm throwing Evan Fournier in the second unit because I just can't see him being in the starting rotation. That's just weak defense. But you got Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish. Cam's been in more trades than he's actually had playing time. Fournier offers you shooting. Derrick Rose, that's Tibbs' guy. I find it's gonna be very tough because you gotta get Obi and quickly in there. You're gonna have Hartenstein in there. So there's only 2 spots left. And either that's going to, one of the 3 guys that I mentioned. Chip, is there any preference that you have for it? I know you're, once again, Duke guy, Cam Reddish. You want Cam in there?
Cam, who are we saying? Cam over who?
Fournier. Let's use Fournier right now.
Oh, my God. For the good, I mean, I'm an Evan Fournier guy. I wanted him on the team in the first place. But for the good of the team going forward, it has to be Cam. I mean, you have to pick Cam there. Even though I guess Tibbs is not a Cam guy, Evan, the best move for the team going forward would probably be for Evan to be traded. And you have to see what you got with Cam with that first round pick. I agree with the caller. I think Cam could easily be put into the starting rotation, just see what you have with him. But I think Grimes is probably the right move and have Cam come off the bench behind him. I think the Fournier Brunson sign and trade is still a possibility, right? They didn't confirm that, the Brunson contract yet? Yeah. So, yeah, I think moving Fournier is probably the best move going forward. And if I'm saying that, then it's the best move going forward.
It's just weird. It's just weird, man, because I feel like, nothing has been, as you said, confirmed with Brunson being a sign and trade or just an outright signing. So you would think that maybe they're trying to work out Evan Fournier into a deal just to make it a little bit cleaner, a little bit simpler for Tibbs to run this, so that way there's no, look, man, Taj is gone. They're really trying to push the youth movement over here, okay? They're really
Tibbs, for sure.
They're really pushing Tibbs saying, look, man, we are not giving you any chance to play a veteran, okay? You're going to be playing these young kids, and that's all you're going to do, all right? And I think they might be trying to figure out to get Cam Reddish a look too, because how do you trade a first round pick and then not play him, man? How do you not give him minutes? That's just strange to me.
There's so much smoke around Cam Reddish trades is the only thing that worries me. They've clearly tried to trade him since they got him, which is really weird. But I don't know if they were trying to trade him to get Jaden Ivey. Obviously, that makes sense. But I don't know. You gotta find minutes for him somehow, and trading Fournier may be the only way to get him minutes because Tibbs isn't going to play him over Fournier. So you may have to. Again, you had to get rid of Taj to make sure Sims got minutes. So you have to move Fournier to make sure Reddish gets minutes. That's the way it has to be.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Everyone, make sure to, if you want to call in, make sure to hop in the Discord if you want to get your thoughts and opinions across tonight. This is KnicksFanTV post game, all right? So make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to call in. We want to hear what you guys have to think tonight. It is Summer League. We know it's overreaction time. Come on. We're trying to hear some of your overreaction thoughts and opinions. We want to know what you all have to say about this New York Knicks team. Come on, we all know you watch Quentin Grimes, Deuce McBride, everyone out there just put on a show. Don't you have any thoughts? Come on. But yo, I think something that I want to ask you, Chip. Something I want to ask you because where do you see this team? Because we had a caller in come in last night. Think about the Knicks moving forward, right? Like as a team, where do you see them placing in this league in this upcoming season? Right? Do you see them as a play-in team? You see them in the top 6? How do you see this team right now? I guess before that, let me ask you this. What do you think of the free agency, the offseason so far, the free agent signings the Knicks have made? How would you give it a grade?
I think they did a great job. I don't know if I'd go as far as an A. I think I'd give them a B plus though. Maybe A minus even. I think I'd go
Really?
B plus. Yeah, I think. But I was stupid about Brunson initially. I've immediately come around on him. I really like him, and I'm high on him now. The Hartenstein thing, not as big maybe on Brunson, but I guess I'm so high on Brunson. I want to give him a higher grade. I do want to see how Hartenstein looks with us first before I like completely write it off. And I think it's a lot of money to spend on Mitch and Hartenstein. So I get why people may be lower on it, but it's also at the same time, it's like, what are they going to do? Let Mitch walk for nothing? Like they had to bring him back. I know the market dictated that he maybe wasn't worth that much, but I do think they did a good job. And they got, I know it was the draft, not free agency, but they got a bunch of future picks. And I think they did a good job. They got one of the better backup centers in the NBA. And we were just talking about how you're going to need help for when Mitch is hurt. And so Hartenstein is a guy who's going to be playing a lot of minutes. And that's probably going to be necessary for us. I don't know. I think they did a good job. Why? What do you think? Well, what were you going to say?
Now I give him like a C plus B minus earlier because like I do like the signings, but I like the signings, but it's not enough for me to say that this is much of a needle mover where they're going to be a top 6 team in the East, where they're going to secure a playoff spot outright. I think they're going to be a play-in team, and I don't even know how far they would get in the play-in. I think this is a very good team. I think it'll be very competitive. I think they'll be much more organized with Jalen Brunson steering the ship. I do like Isaiah Hartenstein being like a change of pace center coming off the bench. To me, though, when you look at the teams that were in the top 6 this past season, which is you got the Bucks, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Heat, the Bulls, the Raptors. You still have the Cavs, who are a good team. I do like how the Cavs are building over there. Hornets probably will take a step back, but still, and it's questionable like how far the Nets are going to go, depending if they trade Kyrie and KD. But
Hawks added Murray though. Hawks are
going to be a good team too. So like I'm looking at the East, it's a competitive conference. It's not going to be easy outright. So the Knicks would have to be on their A game every single night in order to secure just a playoff spot outright. That's why I give it a C plus B minus rating, because they're going to be competitive. They're going to be good. But for me to have like an A, they have to get like a marquee superstar. They'd have to like substantially it would just really be a superstar. Something that I know where it's like championship contending to give them like an A. But, you know, the big thing of this team moving forward is, do we think RJ, do we see Grimes, Jericho, IQ, Obi all taking the next step in their development? That's a bigger question to really see how this team shakes out moving forward. So that's where I stand with like the C plus B minus, because like, yeah, free agency, that's where I'm giving it. As a team overall, I didn't see anyone. It's not real. Like Jalen Brunson's good, but he's not that guy who's going to throw you over the top. Be like, all right, now we're competing for championships. You know, maybe playoff spot. I think if everything hits right, you know, Knicks could possibly make second round appearance if everything hits right for this team. Everything has to legitimately hit right.
Yeah. They have to get really lucky with an injury problem on another team, too.
Yeah, like everything has to hit right for this team.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel about this team. So my second question, how do you feel about this team moving into the season?
I think they can definitely be a play-in team. I'd be surprised if they weren't a play-in team. After the disaster that was last year, I think that'd be such an improvement. I think not making the playoffs would be bad after they spent all that money. And that's why I think I expect this team to make the play-in and then win in the play-in and get in. And maybe not necessarily win a round, probably not win a round. But I think I agree with you. I expect them to be competitive every single night. Brunson is a guy who adds to that competitiveness, and I definitely expect him to make the play-in. And like you said, the East is really good, and it could be getting even better if the Raptors add Kevin Durant. So, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I think the Knicks are going to be really good this year. The X factor obviously is you mentioned RJ. RJ's development is huge, but another, maybe the biggest factor to me is what are we going to see from Julius next year? Because I think he is going to be back. As much as some people are hoping he gets traded, I think he will be back, and I don't know. Whatever he's going to look like is going to play a huge factor in how we look next season. And I do think we can be. Brunson is not a championship mover, like you said, but championship needle mover, like you said. And I think even the Knicks recognize that. But I think he's a guy who can take us to the next level of playoff spot, competing for a playoff spot at least. And the play-in game is designed for teams like the Knicks, like to get in to the playoffs and make a run there. So I think, and we have a roster where on a one-night basis, we have a defense, theoretically, where we can shut a team down and get into the playoffs. So, and I don't know. I think they're definitely capable on paper anyway. And who knows what they're not done dealing. Maybe, I don't know. So we'll see. I like this team this year. I also like the team last year. So we have no idea yet, and we'll wait until we see Brunson playing on this team. But I do think they can make the playoffs. Yes.
Do you think? So you just mentioned it. So we got rid of. So Taj is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Arcidiacono is gone. Still waiting to see if Jalen Brunson's a sign and trade. Do you think there are any more moves for this Knicks team? Do you see any? Like,
besides the potential Fournier thing, that's kind of what I was inferring to. I think they're probably done, right? Like, what's the other move? Because I don't think they're doing the big Donovan Mitchell move. I don't think that's happening now.
I wouldn't want it right
yeah,
now,
me neither.
especially after seeing what Rudy Gobert got.
Oh my God! No, I don't want it right now.
No, I'm good.
I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade 5 picks for Donovan Mitchell right now.
Might even be more than that, man. Might even be more than that.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be at least 4, obviously, because they just got 4 for Gobert.
And they got to be unprotected. Because if you got
unprotected.
Yeah, if you got unprotected, and it would have to be the Knicks' own unprotected too. Plus some of the picks that we got in the trade, right?
Plus a young player, because they also
plus you
traded Walker Kessler.
Yeah, you got to match the salary.
Also traded Kessler too. Yeah. No, I don't want to do the Donovan Mitchell trade right now either. I don't know why you'd want to do the Donovan Mitchell trade right now. So I don't think they're going to do that. I think moving Fournier would be the move that they do next. In some capacity. Yeah. Why? Do you think they have another move in mind? I don't know.
I don't see a big move. I'm just like wondering how you're going to fill out the roster because we were at 14. You lose Taj. Ryan's not back, so we're down to 13. And you got 2 two-way spots. I mean, we can go up to 15. So I'm wondering if they're just going to save those 2 spots for, break glass in case of emergency, or
I don't think they'll go in. Don't most teams go in with 14 with an empty roster spot? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of teams do that. Go in with 14 instead of 15.
Okay.
I don't know. I could see Fournier getting moved, even if he doesn't go in the Brunson trade, just because they were aggressive with Burks and Noel and Kemba. So dumping Fournier is possible.
I got this one from 27 in the chat. Would you trade for OG Anunoby? How about that one? Add OG to the team.
Of course, I would trade for him, but how? Like, what would we trade for him? I mean, he wants to be traded, right? Isn't there a
Yeah,
report that he
to be
wants a
traded.
bigger role? Yeah, he's a clutch guy, so he wants a trade and a bigger role and a payday, right?
Clutch. Would that even happen because we got Leon Rose here, or was that?
I mean, there's definitely
We got
a
Cam.
few,
I mean, we got Cam, who's also part of Clutch. So
yeah. Oh, that would probably be part of it. Cam would probably be part of that trade, right? Who else would be in that? I mean, you have to. I don't know how much he makes, but you'd probably have to put Evan's salary in there to make it work. I'm sure, and he's good, so you'd have to put in Quickly or Obi. They'd want one of those two guys.
yeah, he signed a 4 years, $72 million deal back in 2021. He's on last year would be 2024, 2025. He's earning this upcoming season would be 17 million. So that's
Yeah.
legitimately the Evan Fournier contract.
So you could trade Evan for OG. You think they'd do that?
No, I don't think they would do that.
I don't think they do that.
Oh,
They're
man.
trying to trade OG for Kevin Durant right now. So I don't think they're going to do that for Evan Fournier.
What was that crazy trade? Was it Kevin Durant for Ant Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns?
Oh, man. How real do you think that was? Do you think Sean Marks actually called up the Timberwolves and said that?
I don't believe that at all.
No.
I don't believe that. I don't. I think everyone would be. I think they're a little too measured to be like, yeah, give us everything for Kevin Durant.
Maybe the GM of the Suns leaked that. Yeah, do you believe he's calling around asking for all these great players? Like, there's no way he did that. After they
Insane.
just traded for Gobert. I don't
Insane.
believe that.
Insane. You mentioned Julius Randle though. How do you feel about Julius Randle coming into the season? What do you think is going to happen? You think he's going to go back to MIP? You think he's going to replicate what we saw last season? Do you think it's going to be somewhere in between? What do you think?
I don't think he can possibly play as bad as he did last year. That was unheard. Like, we've never seen him play that bad. He didn't even play that bad his first year here. So that was something wrong. Just like there was a mental thing going on there. So I think they'll be somewhere in between his first year and his MIP year. I think, he's not as good a player as he was the year he was All NBA. He's a much better player than he was last year. And I expect him to be much better than he was last year. I don't expect him to make the All-Star game. I don't expect him to be All NBA. But I expect him to be much better. And, if he did what he does, or if he does what he did in New Orleans when he was, second, sometimes third option to Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday, that would be really nice. Because now he has Brunson. He can play off the ball. He was a roll man in the pick and roll a lot in New Orleans. And he set a lot of screens in New Orleans. He cut a lot in New Orleans. That's something he hasn't done with us. He's been on the ball all the time. And if he's willing to do that again, he hasn't done that in a long time. But if he's willing to do that again, if you look at the clips of him in New Orleans, dude, he had some games where he just dominated because they didn't focus a lot on him. And if Brunson has the ball a lot, they may, and if RJ's going off, they may shift focus away from Julius, and he may be able to go off like he did in New Orleans. But it all depends on whether or not Julius is willing to accept a different role and not be on the ball the whole game again, like he is accustomed to doing with the Knicks. And I don't know. We'll wait and see. I think he's still capable, obviously, of being a very good, productive player in the NBA, and I expect him to be much better next year.
Do you think? Well, I think Randle. Let me just say, I think Randle's going to be somewhere in between. I think he'll be better with Brunson. I still think you got to move him. I think Randle helps us stay like in that in between as a team where you're kind of in no man's land, like what we saw with the Orlando Magic. So if I'm the Knicks, if he's starting to play well, I would move him at this point because you might as well just go. Not saying that Julius couldn't fit the timeline of this team, but unless like you have something major coming down the pipeline, I think it's just going to be a middle of the tier team moving forward. But I think he'll be somewhere in the middle of this season from what we saw from his MIP and what we saw from last season. Like he's still a good player. It's somewhere in there. Last year it just went off the rails for him completely. But I think having Brunson will help. I think Brunson will help because he will take the ball, as you said, out of his hands, and he won't have to do a lot of the initiating of the offense. How much do you think Brunson will help Randle, though? That's the big question.
I think as long as Julius lets him help, if that's the right way to put it, like as long as Julius lets Jalen Brunson be Jalen Brunson, he'll help him a lot. Look at what Jalen Brunson did for Luka Doncic in Dallas. Look at how, if you look at the stats, look at how many 3-pointers Jalen Brunson created in Dallas. How many points he created for everybody on that team. He's just a guy who makes everybody better that he plays with. He should make it easy for Julius to score. You know, Julius made things a lot harder on himself last year than he needed to. He took a lot of hard shots. What you want is a point guard who makes the game easier on guys. That's what he can do. And that's why they brought him in. And I don't know, if Julius just lets the game come to him, if he lets Jalen Brunson play his game, which I don't see any reason why he won't do that, considering this is, you know, they should be able to sell him on this because he is, they are both Leon Rose guys. Jalen Brunson is obviously very close with Leon Rose, but so is Julius Randle. That's why he's still on the team. That's why he got the contract, or part of it anyway. And I just think that, yeah, Julius and Jalen Brunson's going to make everybody better, I think, and Julius should reap the benefits of that too.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Daniel Bloom with the $2 super chat. He said Randle slimmed down to play the 3 and Obi at the 4 and RJ at shooting guard. I think he's talking about seeing Randle on the sideline today. I think CK2K also tweeted out saying Randle looks like he slimmed down too. Yeah, it looks like Randle's in good shape. Ready to come back into the season. We'll see. Once again, we'll see what Randle has to offer the Knicks for this upcoming season. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to have everyone back and see what this new team looks like moving forward. Time to reset. Everyone, thank you for tuning in for KnicksFanTV post-game. The New York Knicks just defeated the Golden State Warriors 101-88. I am your host, Alex Gutierrez, a.k.a. the Stratocaster. With me is Chip Murphy, KnicksFanTV.com writer. Please make sure to call in through the Discord if you want to give off some of your takes, give off some of your opinions. All right? And make sure to hit that thumbs up button for us. Come on. CP may be out, but we're holding it down right now. Don't worry. CP's out right now. He's probably overreacting right now. He probably saw this win, bet the house, said, you know what? Knicks going to the championship. Money out, house on the line. All right? That's what we got from CP right now. I'm sure of it. 100% sure of it. Oh, man. You see that Damian Lillard contract extension today?
God, $60 million when he's 36 years old he's going to be making? Crazy contract.
They're all in.
Yeah.
They got to be all in, right? Either Dame's probably the most loyal dude in the NBA.
He's loyal to something. Yeah.
Or he's just securing the bag and getting ready to request a trade. It's got to be somewhere in between.
I don't think he's requesting a trade because who's trading
for
that contract?
You think he's going to stay with Portland this entire time?
Who's trading for that contract?
Wow.
Who's trading for that contract? I just don't see.
There's a desperate team every year, my man. There's a desperate team every year.
He did not look good last year. He was hurt and he didn't shoot the ball well. Like, who's trading for a contract when he's making $60 million when he's 36 years old? You're right. There's a desperate team. There's always a desperate team, and you know the Lakers traded for the Russell Westbrook contract, and the Wizards did it before that. But now no one wants the Russell Westbrook contract, and that contract's going to age bad. That Dame contract. I can't believe they gave him all that money. It's crazy that they gave him all that money. Wasn't there a report yesterday that the owner wouldn't take his phone calls, and now the next day he got $122 million?
Man, that it's interesting out in Portland. Like it feels like they're going all in. I don't know. Like if the lineup right now, according to ESPN, you got Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, Jusuf Nurkic. You got Brandon Williams, Gary Payton II, Nazir Little, Justice Winslow, and Drew Eubanks. That's your 10. That's your 10-man rotation. Who are you competing with in the West with that rotation?
Not the Warriors. I'll tell you that. You're not competing with the Warriors for sure. You're not competing with the Grizzlies. You're not winning a finals with that rotation. And I like Anthony Simons, but tell me the difference between the Dame CJ backcourt and the Dame Simons backcourt. You're still an undersized backcourt that can't guard. Now, except for now, Dame's older. So I don't know. And I think signing Simons was smart to that extension, but man, you said they went all in. They definitely went all in, giving him all that money. And I don't know. He's their guy, right? He's their franchise player. What else are they going to do other than pay Damian Lillard? But did they really need to pay him? Didn't he already have 3 years left on the deal before it expired? Man,
that's rough. But hey, that's rough. But we do got a caller in the lounge right now. We got Cynthia on the line. Cynthia, I'm bringing you in. Cynthia, what's going on, Cynthia? How are you feeling today? What do you think of this game? Give us some of these takes and reactions. You ready to overreact to what we saw tonight? Cynthia is not there. Cynthia, are you here? You're here right now. Going once. Wait. Going once. Nope. No Cynthia.
Okay.
No one. No. It's just you and me right now, Chip.
All right.
What do you think? What would you say is worse? Beal or Lillard? Which contract?
Oh, Lillard. Oh, no, because you're saying because Beal has the no trade.
Yeah.
Oh. That's tough. The no trade may make the Beal one worse. Because like you said, there's still desperate teams. And Dame may still be tradable because there's desperate teams. The Beal, I mean, we know firsthand with Melo, that Beal contract is going to be a pain to trade. Because he's going to be able to veto so many teams, and you're going to have to work with him to trade. And it's... Yeah, you may be right. It might be Beal.
I don't like the no trade clause.
The no trade clause, why did they give that to him? He's Bradley Beal. He's not Giannis. He's not Luka. And now that sets a dangerous precedent for contracts in the NBA too. All these guys are going to be like, well, Bradley Beal got a no trade clause. And I'm much better than him. I need one. Like, I don't understand why they gave him one. I thought he was going to ask for a trade after he signed this.
Man. Talk about getting the bag.
Yeah, seriously.
I feel like this is going down. What contract is this? I just had it on the tip of my tongue too. But I gotta go Beal because the no trade clause. Yeah. He hasn't really shown that by himself he'll take you to that next level for a team. But I don't know what team moving forward is going to say, we'll take that trade. I think he's just going to, at this point, I would expect him to end out his career in Washington, wouldn't you?
Probably. Play there for a long time, at least. Yeah, it seems like he's comfortable there. Yeah. Don't you think? Like, why else put in the no trade? He wants to control where he goes next, obviously. Feels like he's comfortable in Washington for now, when it seemed like he wanted out for such a long time, and now it just seems like he's comfortable losing, I guess.
I mean, I don't think he's comfortable losing. I think it's just, I don't know what to call it. I think he may be trying to win, but you need to add more around that. With that contract, you don't have the opportunity to add more around him. All right, we're going to give Cynthia another try to see if we got Cynthia on the line. Cynthia, you're on the line. What's going on? Going once? Nope. Chip, it's just you and me, man. No one wants to call in. Come on, guys. You guys got to call in. You guys got to call in. If you want to change these topics around. Or throw a question in the chat. We do know it's the Discord. TM posted has it in the chat right now. If you go to the chat, you can get the link to go to the Discord, sign up, so that way you can call in and give some of your takes. So just hop out in there. But Chip, going back, like, wait a minute, what?
What?
Now we're just getting people hopping in and out of no, never mind. Thought people were just hopping in and out of the lounge for a second. Nah, I think so when he goes back, just getting back to Beal, I think for Washington, like, they have a lot of young players. I just don't know the direction of that team. It's kind of like Westbrook on OKC all over again when you give him a major contract and you surround him with a lot of young players, and there's not really a direction that you can see going forward for that team.
Yeah, but
that's my take on it.
But Beal's not an MVP caliber player. Westbrook is so far ahead of Bradley Beal as a player. Like, it's just, and Westbrook had done so much more for the franchise than Beal. Like, it was, and Westbrook didn't have a no trade clause. Like, but I think you're right in that the Wizards should be leaning towards going young right now, like, and trying to get as many young players in there as they possibly can. But I don't know. I'm not sure off the top of my head how old Beal is, but you also get why they would want to keep him. It's just the no trade cost that is wild. Like, I just don't understand why they. I get he obviously was strong arming them into putting that in, but if he was like, hey, I won't sign unless you put in a no trade clause, well then trade him. Whatever. Like, just trade him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at this point. Or you gotta do what like James Harden did, right? You take a pay cut so that way you can help build the team around you and make sure that you can compete. Something around those lines.
Yeah, because teams were lining up to sign him, and he was like, "Hey, I don't want to go to any of those other teams. I'm going to take a pay cut to stay here."
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Chip, is there anyone else that you're looking forward to watching Summer League? Because guys, if no one's going to call, and we're going to be ending the show pretty soon. But Chip, anyone else that you're looking forward to watching the Summer League right now?
I mean, I already watched them, but I'm going to keep watching Paolo. Yeah, I loved watching Paolo for Orlando, and the Houston game was great. I love Tari too, and Jabbar, and just the top guys are pretty much the ones that I'm going to check out. Paolo is the most fun, I think, to watch right now. Just he's such an effortless scorer. I know everybody loves Chet, and Chet's great to watch, but I think Paolo is the most fun guy in Summer League to me.
Yeah, Paolo is a good one to watch. Looking for Johnny Davis just because that was my guy.
That's true, yeah.
Watching Johnny Davis. Benedict Mathurin on the Pacers, watching that game before the next game, he's looking pretty solid. Just his fluidity overall. There's a lot of good players, man. I think this draft, where would you say this draft stands, man, overall? Because there's like so many varying opinions of being a weak draft. Some may say it was a good draft. Not a highly strong draft like last year.
Top
What do you
heavy,
feel about it?
Top heavy, right?
Top heavy, yeah.
It as top heavy.
Yeah, I consider it top heavy.
Yeah, like those top 4 guys, and then kind of a drop off after that, I think is what everyone considered. But top 5. You know what? I think I'd say top 5. Yeah, is what I watched a lot of Big Ten ball. You know that, and I watched a lot of Keegan, and I think I'd throw Keegan in there with the other 4 guys. And so but I think after Keegan, I think there's a pretty significant drop off. But so I think top heavy is how I describe the draft for the most part. But as far as guys besides like Keegan and Jaden Ivey and all the other top guys, they talked to James Wiseman during the game tonight. I'm not a huge Wiseman guy, but I would just like to see him play basketball at some point. And if I can see that during a Summer League game, that'd be nice. Because we saw him play at Memphis for like 30 seconds, and then he was gone. So to just see him play would be nice to see what he can do. He was talking about being in the dunker spot and all that stuff, and I don't know. That's nice to hear, but let's just see what you can do.
Facts. All right,
Yeah.
we got a caller in. We got a caller. Jan in DC calling in. Jan, what's happening? Give us your takes and your opinions. What do you think about tonight's Summer League game, Knicks defeating the Warriors?
Hello, Am I
Yep.
on?
Yeah.
Oh, how's it going? Sorry, cut in. So tonight I thought Hunt looked really good. I had no idea what to expect from him coming into the summer league, but like getting into passing lanes, I don't know, you stole the ball on inbounds like 3 different times. He looked really nice. One thing from tonight that I hope that the coaching staff uh addresses with Grimes is if your 3-point shot's not going down, like try and do something else with an offensive possession because he was just straight chucking, straight chucking out there.
Yeah.
And and I really wanted him to like, you know, try and like drive and kick or do something else with the ball, but he just kept, he just kept doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and it was tough, like watching Grimes just do the same thing over and over again. Maybe it's just like shaking the rust out, first game back. You know, he hasn't played since March or April, but I feel like that was kind of expected, right? Like if you haven't played, you've only done a little bit of practice, haven't had real like live game action. I feel like you're just going to be shaky coming back into it. I think he'll come around and show show some differentiation in his play, but I'll give him a pass for this game moving forward. Anyone else that you liked outside of Grimes, or you want to see an improvement from?
I mean, obviously Sims looked great. He looked good with the big club last year, and he looked like a man among boys out there tonight. So I was really impressed with his movement without the ball, his setting solid screens, and I hope that he might become a solid pick and roll partner with Jalen Brunson here coming up this season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Jericho Sims showing why is the wall. Jericho, Jan, thank you for calling in. Hope you have a good night.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Okay. What is it?
Okay, sorry. So, I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this, and it sort of like crossed my mind as I was thinking about the Jalen Brunson thing. We know all the reasons why people think that we tampered, and the reasons why he came to New York. His dad's on the staff. His isn't Tibbs his godfather? Or no, Leon Rose is his godfather, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're another member of the Knicks team and Jalen Brunson screws up and could you see a possibility of there being chemistry issues with him being potentially seen differently or treated differently by the coaching staff and the front office? So like if other guys are having problems negotiating deals because Obi's coming up, Quick's coming up, so these guys got to deal with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting, but you know how it is when you see someone who's like really close with your boss or with your superiors, and you feel like they're getting unfair treatment. You see that as a possibility?
That's interesting. I don't feel like that's going to be a major issue with this team moving forward. And thanks for the call, Jan. Appreciate it. Have a good night. I don't see that being an issue for the team moving forward because I think at the end of the day these guys are still professional. I don't see how those relationships are going to. I don't see how those relationships are going to affect the on-court product. I feel like if that is the case, that just sends a whole bad message to the league where it's like, unless you're in this tight-knit family, you're not going to get treated well. I think they have a connection. I think it just so happens that Brunson played really well. He's an above-average point guard, got paid like an above-average point guard, and the Knicks haven't had an above-average point guard for quite some time. So it was just kind of the right pairing at the right time. And I don't see it being an issue moving forward because I think to the rest of the league that would scream a lot of trouble. What are your thoughts, Chip?
Yeah, I don't see it being an issue either. And as far as like the coaching situation, I think Tibbs is hard and yells at everyone pretty much. So I don't think it'll be an issue with Brunson. I think he'll yell and scream at Brunson the same way he would at anybody else. I don't think that'll be a problem. And as far as the negotiating thing, I mean, Obi is a Obi's isn't Leon's kid Obi's agent. So like I don't think any Obi negotiation will be different from a Brunson negotiation if that's how you want to compare it. And Quickly is a Kentucky guy, and you have very similar connections there. Like I just don't see it making anything different. These guys are so close. It's a family atmosphere. They were all sitting in the front row together at the game today. So I agree. I think it's a very tight knit atmosphere. I don't see it changing. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the RJ negotiations right now, but I just don't see anything with Brunson. Brunson, what do you get, $100 million? Nobody on the team is going to look at that and be like, oh, he got $100 million because his dad is on the coaching staff. It's not like playing with the coach's kid when you're in the 8th grade and you just are like it's different. Like you said, they're professionals.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I mean, we can keep going down the line, right? Like Julius Randle had to sit down dinner with Leon Rose and Worldwide West after his 2019-2020 season, and they asked him like, what did he need, right? And look, Rose was Randle's agent, and we can keep going through all the ties and the connections in this front office, keep going down the line, but I don't see that being an issue. I really don't see that being an issue. But shout out to Chico Fernandez, our guy. $10 super chat said, shout out to my boy Alex. Love your work, Chip. Got to go with Grimes as a starter. He just affects the game in more ways than Evan. Evan on the bench is going to be real good with Obi, IQ, Hart, and Rose. So we do have Chico saying Evan Fournier should stick around, come off the bench. Derrick Rose. Chico, what does that say about Cam, man? What about Cam? Cam needs his playing time. Man. Evan Fournier. I mean, Evan Fournier is a good shooter. Don't get me wrong. Shot 40%. I think Evan Fournier, though, when I think about his shooting, it's so in spurts. Like, it'll be like, all right, cool. This man goes, 7 for 9 one game, and then goes 1 for 7 the next game, and then comes back shooting like lights out, and then goes back shooting cold the next game.
The thing is, when the spurts are good, they're so good that the numbers are at 40% because it doesn't matter that the spurts are so bad when they're bad because they're so good when they're good. But when he's off, he's really off, like way off. But yeah, he's 40% 3-point shooter. I mean, you can't deny the guy can shoot the ball. It's just, when he's off, and when he can't hit shots, you saw it last year. You can't have him out there if he's not hitting shots.
Fournier is best coming off a bench, giving that like spark, instant offense. Because you can also do a little bit of playmaking too. I really feel like, he could be like a good solid 6 man on a team, which
that's his best.
Like
role.
around the league, like any team could use him. I think on the Knicks, he was just, he was our best shooter. Like legitimately our best shooter, and we asked a lot out of him. And when you struggle defensively and you're good at offense, and then on a team like the Knicks, your weaknesses are just going to be glaring, right? So I think having him on a team like whether it's Milwaukee, Clippers, even Dallas, right? Even if the Dallas did do a sign and trade, like they like to play 5 out. That'd be just good for him, Solid team, having like a true superstar that you can play with. Where you're not called upon to do a lot because he was asked to do a lot in New York. Evan Fournier as a 6 man would be solid.
Yeah, I think it's his best role. He was wildly miscast in Orlando. They asked him to. I mean, he was in Orlando. He was taking the last shot at the end of the game. Yeah, like he was totally miscast there. And then in New York, he had a much more comfortable role here, but he's not a starter. He's much better as he hasn't been a 6 man in a long time. I think he was a 6 man in his rookie and maybe his second year
in Denver.
Yeah, in Denver. No one remembers he played, and he was barely in Denver. But yeah, he came off the bench in Denver, and I just think that's his his best role would be to come off the bench, and I think he doesn't have an ego. It doesn't seem like he's that kind of guy. So I think he'd be willing to come off the bench if it meant helping the team win. So, and the only way you know is if you ask him, and if he says no, then he may ask for a trade. And that's what they're trying to do right now, probably is trade him anyway. So if you can't get a trade for him, then yeah, you ask him to come off the bench.
Facts. I got Russell Reed in the chat saying, just give Fournier green tinted goggles every game so that way he thinks it's the Boston Celtics. Yo, he really went off against the Celtics for like no reason. Like absolutely like no reason.
Well, for a reason. They told him they didn't think he was good enough.
Was it for a reason? I didn't see that against Orlando, Chip. I didn't see that against Orlando. That could have been another reason.
He likes Orlando.
Oh, brother. So
Yeah.
he has to hate a team? He just has to hate a team in order to go off against them. Is that it?
He's a nice guy.
So you're telling me, let me ask you this. So if he gets traded, are we getting back Knicks killer Evan Fournier?
Probably. Actually, no. Actually, I don't know. I don't think he hates the Knicks. Well, he may hate. But, no, I think he has enjoyed his time. It feels like, but for part of the season, it seemed like his body language is bad. But I know there were some incidents between him and Julius where it looked like, man, they couldn't stand each other. But I know he was close with Kemba, which is why everybody was like, man, him and Julius are not getting along. But yeah, I don't know. If there's the thing with him and the Celtics is just they told him that they didn't want him, and he was like, "Screw you! I'm going to kick your ass every time I play you."
Oh my goodness. We got another super chat. Shout out to Jeremy Maynard, $5 super chat. What up, Knicks fam? Really enjoyed Hunt, Sims, Jeffries, Grimes, and McBride tonight. Most athletic and aggressive we've looked in summer league. I can agree with that. Last year we were pretty aggressive and in summer league, but this coming out the gate, I can agree with that. I mean, when you win 101 to 88, I mean, get into triple digits in summer league. That's legit. That's focus. And look,
Exactly.
I liked it, man. Like, this is the type of basketball we just need to see translate to the big club. Like, we need to see, Tibbs keeps preaching, playing with pace, getting out in transition, all this stuff, moving the ball well, playing defense on the string. We didn't see that last season. We need to see that this season. And we saw that towards the end of last year when we had RJ, Obi, and Quickly out there together. But really needs to put an emphasis on it because we can't be in the bottom of the league in transition. I mean, it's just a grinding halt every single time we watch the Knicks play last year, and we made everything so complicated. Too much isolation, ran pick and roll to initiate the offense, and then it was like we just make it a little bit more difficult, more than it needed to be. So hopefully with Brunson, who loves to run the pick and roll, that helps. Hartenstein works really well out of the pick and roll as well. Hopefully we get Randle back working in the pick and roll. Now we have a point guard. And then we could just find guys out in transition, because when you have Obi, Quickly, RJ, guys that like to move without the rock, and you don't you don't use their skill sets and their strengths to play the game, you're hurting them as players and hurting not necessarily their development, but you're just hurting what their full potential could be if you're not playing to their skill sets.
Yeah, Obi needs to get out in transition. That's where he's best. It's like it's not rocket science. Obi, Quickly, the young guys just need to get out and run. You're seeing it right now. Like these Quickly, Grimes, Obi, just put the young guys out there and let them run. These guys want to run. Sims, just play. Like you said, Tibbs talks about playing with pace. It's one thing to talk about it. Let the team do it. And we know Julius doesn't want to do it. He wants to play a half-court game, like a lot of the best players do. But I don't know. You play faster. It gives Julius a lot less opportunities to slow the game down and take bad shots in isolation. So, which there were way too many ISO opportunities that turned into bad shots. I know you can't run after every miss, obviously, but the Knicks were dead last from what I remember in transition opportunities last season. I think for the second year in a row. And when you don't have a good enough offense to never run. That's what I do know. You don't have a dominant half court score. So you need to run and try and get easy buckets. You're right.
It's just mind-boggling. And for Randle, he even said it like, you take away opportunities for him to slow the game down, but it'll only help him too, right? Like, if you want to like give him that rest, like on every possession, even when he's on the floor, allowing the other guys just to get out and get an easy bucket, gives him an opportunity not to have the defense focus on him. Gives him a chance to like not have to think about a bajillion different moves to go figure out how to work in the half court. Like, you're changing it up, like you're changing up everything about the offense, the pace, like the dimension of the game. So it only makes sense to finally watch a team get out in pace and do it. It was fun tonight. And also it's just like good basketball to watch. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's fun to watch basketball and not follow the Kevin Durant thing for 5 minutes, for an hour, like not have to look at your notifications.
Oh my God. That's a fact. Oh man. But thank you everyone for tuning in for Knicks Fan TV post game. I think we got all the super chats. We got all the callers that came in. Thank you. We had over 1,200 people tune in for a summer league game. Summer league game. We had over 1,200 people tune in. This is why Knicks Nation is the greatest. Knicks Nation legitimately on a Friday night watching summer league. These games don't even matter. They legitimately don't even matter in like records, standings, all that type of stuff. It matters in development. But the fact that we got over 1,200 tuning in right now, watching us, talking about the Knicks, shows you why Knicks Nation is great. So thank you everyone for tuning in for the Knicks Fan TV post game, where the New York Knicks defeated the Golden State Warriors 101-88. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to support the channel. If you can't tune in to YouTube and follow us here, we're available on all audio listening platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. You can find Knicks Fan TV on all those platforms. All right, and you can just engage with us on all social media platforms as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to go check out all the content. And we got other videos too. Make sure to catch into Knicks Weekly. Make sure to tune into all the other Knicks Fan TV post games, because we are covering Summer League. So thank you all for tuning in. Salute to all the mods. Salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to everyone who works at KnicksFanTV.com. All right. And thank you, Chip, for hopping on with me tonight. We'll catch you later, everyone. Thank you. We out.